On the morning of August 18, 1993, everything seemed routine at an apartment complex in Mission Viejo, California. But behind one specific door, something unthinkable had taken place. Jim Pang, a successful businessman, had just returned from a business trip and decided to stop by his mistress Jennifer's place, along with their young infant son, Kevin. When no one answered the door, he didn't worry at first. But when he finally entered, the scene he discovered changed everything forever. It wasn't just shocking, it was devastating. This discovery set off a chain of revelations involving secrets, lies, and a horror no one could have foreseen. What really happened in that apartment? And who could have carried out such a monstrous act? As the probe unfolded, the truth proved far more tangled than anyone expected. Lisa Pang was born in Taiwan in the early 1950s. Described as ambitious and hardworking in her youth, her life shifted dramatically in 1967 when she met Jim Pang. Jim, born in Taiwan in 1945, was her boss at a financial firm there. The pair quickly grew close, and after nearly 5 years of courtship, they wed. Around 1973, they had their first child, a daughter, followed by a son 4 years later. While little is known about Lisa's professional path before marriage, some reports suggest she left her career to focus on raising the children and running the home. She stood by Jim as he grew his enterprise from a modest venture into a hugely profitable international electronics firm. His company, specializing in radio systems sold to police departments across Asia and beyond, built substantial riches in both mainland China and Taiwan. By the 1980s and 1990s, his fortune was valued at around $200 million, roughly $500 million in today's terms. The Pang family enjoyed an opulent existence, reaping the rewards of their prosperity. To expand his ventures, Jim relocated the family to Orange County, California, settling them in a luxurious home in Rancho Santa Margarita. Even so, the business's main activities stayed in Asia, requiring Jim to make frequent trips to Taiwan and China. By 1992, after over 2 decades of marriage, Lisa and Jim appeared to be the picture of achievement. Their teenage kids went to elite private schools, and the household seemed at the peak of success. Yet during one of Jim's extended business stays in Asia, his world took a sharp detour. While lodging at a high-end hotel where he often held meetings and attended investment gatherings, he encountered a striking young woman named Jennifer. Born in 1968 along China's coast, Jennifer was an elegant, tall, educated professional working in public relations at the hotel. Information about her family remains scarce, with only her father, Shi Su-hong, and a sister, Jacqueline Shi, publicly noted. At a hotel function, Jennifer briefly blocked Jim's line of sight. When he courteously asked her to step aside, their short exchange sparked an introduction. Jennifer, aware of his status as a prominent entrepreneur, offered help. This minor moment captivated Jim, then 49, and he soon developed deep feelings for the 24-year-old. Despite the significant age gap, they started a romance. After heading back to California to his wife and family, Jim kept up the relationship with Jennifer on his Asia visits. About a year later, he arranged for her to move to California, setting her up in a Mission Viejo apartment close to his family's residence. Their connection evolved into a regular arrangement, with Jim leading a secret double life, dividing his time between his family and Jennifer. His fixation on her grew quickly, upsetting the delicate equilibrium of his divided existence. Utterly captivated, Jim sought every opportunity to stay near her. To facilitate this, he hired her as a personal assistant or employee in his firm, keeping her constantly accessible. His commitment went further. He covered her housing, all her costs, and even transferred 1/3 of the shares in a subsidiary company to her. Still, Jennifer grew dissatisfied with being the secondary partner and began urging Jim to divorce Lisa and make their union official. This sparked major tension. Jim, rooted in tradition, viewed divorce as a cultural prohibition conflicting with his core Chinese principles. Beyond custom, the monetary fallout was enormous. A split might award Lisa half his wealth or more, plus large support payments for their children. Although Lisa initially appeared oblivious to the infidelity, subtle shifts in Jim's conduct sparked doubts. After his overseas trips, she started finding women's garments in his luggage or gym bag. Confronted, Jim brushed it off, saying they belonged to a co-worker who mixed them up by mistake. Unpersuaded, Lisa ignored it temporarily. But the occurrences persisted, with more items appearing, convincing Lisa of his cheating, likely with someone from work. Accounts say she discreetly questioned staff at his company to confirm her instincts. Eventually, she learned the facts and one day visited his office, coming face to face with Jennifer. The encounter left Lisa crushed. Jennifer was stunningly beautiful and far younger. Though devastated, Lisa attempted to appeal to Jennifer, pleading with her to stop the relationship. Jennifer declined, declaring her love for Jim and refusal to walk away. Powerless, Lisa saw the situation worsen. Allegedly, after that clash, Jennifer intentionally left her clothes at the Pang family residence, infuriating Lisa. In one episode, Lisa shredded Jennifer's outfits with scissors and demanded Jim terminate the affair. She even warned she would harm Jennifer if it continued. Jim showed little reaction to her fury and stayed unmoved. Another pivotal incident arose when Lisa plotted to surprise them. While supposedly visiting relatives in Taiwan, she came back home unannounced ahead of schedule. Upon arrival, she spotted women's lingerie on her own bed. Soon after, Jim and Jennifer walked in, looking at ease and prepared to remain. Lisa challenged them, but Jennifer responded icily that, as she saw it, the house wouldn't belong to Lisa much longer. Lisa had expected remorse or shame from Jennifer, but saw none. The argument turned physical between the women. Jim stayed out of it and wouldn't intervene. When Lisa insisted he break off the affair and fire Jennifer from the business, he refused again. Despite the chaos, Jim continued rejecting divorce or separation, trapping Lisa in an increasingly intolerable position. The breaking point arrived in March 1993 when Jennifer gave birth to their son, Kevin Pong. Learning of the baby proved a crushing blow for Lisa, symbolizing the deepest betrayal. How or when she found out is unclear. But Kevin's arrival forever altered the situation, solidifying Jennifer's role in Jim's life and plunging Lisa into profound anguish. Jim had demonstrated Jennifer wasn't a fleeting fling. This struck Lisa hard, yet she never dreamed he'd go as far as fathering a child outside the marriage. The news overwhelmed her, and she concluded mere confrontations weren't enough. She felt driven to take extreme steps to resolve it. On August 18, 1993, Jim returned from a trip and headed to visit Jennifer and their 5-month-old son, Kevin. When he knocked at her apartment, no one answered. Assuming they were out for a stroll, he waited several hours in the building office before trying again. Still no reply. Following a hunch, he tried the knob and was shocked to find it open, unusual, since Jennifer always secured the door. Stepping inside, Jim faced a gruesome scene. Jennifer lay motionless on the couch, face down and drenched in blood. Horrified, he phoned the police at once. Officers arrived, and Jim told them he hadn't ventured past the living room, and the eerie quiet had filled him with dread for his son. Police searched and sadly located Kevin's body in a bedroom, a blanket draped over his face, suggesting suffocation. Despite his grief, Jim cooperated completely, revealing Jennifer was his mistress and Kevin their child. He said he'd come directly from Taiwan. As the crime scene was processed, Jennifer and Kevin's bodies went to the Orange County Coroner's Office for examination. Experts found no forced entry, indicating Jennifer had let her killer involuntarily. Detectives soon learned of Jim's secret life, a loyal husband of over 20 years with 2 teenage children, yet father to Jennifer's baby. His close tie to the victims and his discovery of the bodies made him the initial prime suspect. But Jim passed a polygraph and offered proof backing his travel alibi, clearing him. Autopsies showed Jennifer had 18 stab wounds, while Kevin was smothered with a blanket. A bite mark on Jennifer's arm yielded saliva sent for DNA analysis. Given the brutality, authorities suspected a passionate crime and turned attention to Lisa, the other figure in the triangle. At the time, Lisa was in Taiwan. With Jim's help, he convinced her to return to the U.S. for questioning. In January 1994, Lisa appeared at the Orange County Sheriff's Office for nearly 9 hours of interrogation. She denied any role but provided a DNA sample. Results matched the saliva in the bite mark perfectly. Even so, Lisa maintained her innocence. In a surprising twist, Jim felt remorse and supported Lisa. When police requested he speak to her alone, he consented. In an interrogation room, unaware of recording, they conversed in Mandarin. Lisa reportedly told Jim the events stemmed from his unfaithfulness. When he directly asked why she killed Jennifer, Lisa admitted going to the apartment to confront her, leading to a heated dispute. She claimed during the struggle Jennifer fell onto something sharp, insisting it was self-defense. Regarding Kevin, it's thought Lisa couldn't bear the child as a perpetual symbol of Jim's disloyalty. Police viewed her recorded words as a confession and arrested her for the double homicide. Responses in Orange County's Asian community and those aware of the scandal varied sharply. Some sympathized with Lisa, seeing the betrayal and shame as pushing her to the edge. Others condemned her for an unthinkable act, shocking the community with the tragic fallout of a volatile love triangle. Certain Taiwanese women showed support at her initial court date, carrying yellow flowers and solidarity signs. While U.S. coverage was moderate, the story dominated headlines across Asia, especially Taiwan and China. Media there often framed Lisa as a wronged, forsaken wife, portraying Jennifer as a materialistic woman seeking luxury through her wealthy partner. The frenzy was so intense it drew comparisons to the O.J. Simpson case, blending jealousy, violence, dual victims, and strong DNA proof. After his statement, Jim went back to Taiwan for the trial's duration, declining to testify against his wife. Speculation suggested guilt over his indirect role influenced this. Lisa's lawyers tried shifting blame to Jim, proposing he might have attacked after his return, but evidence ruled him out. In 1995, 2 years post-murders, Lisa's initial trial started. The jury deadlocked, causing a mistrial. By her 1996 retrial, attention had intensified. The judge reportedly got over 400 letters seeking leniency, including from Jim and Lisa, who called herself a pitiable woman forsaken by God. Ultimately, the jury convicted Lisa Pong, then 46, of first-degree murder for both deaths. In sentencing, victims' relatives gave poignant statements via interpreter. Jennifer's father called the act vile and unforgivable, lamenting Lisa's lack of mercy, even for an innocent baby. Jennifer's sister, traveling from China, spoke emotionally of their family's pain, expressing relief Lisa would remain imprisoned for life as just punishment. Lisa received life without parole. Her team announced appeals immediately. 3 years on, the case shifted dramatically. On September 30, 1999, an appellate court reversed her 1996 conviction, citing constitutional violations. The court found Lisa wasn't read Miranda rights upon arrest, was misled into a private talk with her husband that was secretly taped, and denied counsel during questioning. In January 2000, the California Supreme Court affirmed this, ordering a new trial. The retrial announcement revived debate. Media and supporters pushed for compassion, arguing Jim's betrayal drove her to the brink. Reports suggested on August 18, 1993, heartbreak from infidelity led Lisa to confront Jennifer, sparking an uncontrollable argument. Fearing another hung jury and prolonged costs reopening wounds, prosecutors offered a plea deal. Lisa would plead to 2 lesser charges, accepting responsibility for reduced exposure. The agreement called for an 11-year sentence, followed by deportation to Taiwan and a permanent U.S. ban. On June 29, 2001, Lisa Pong, then 51, accepted, pleading guilty to 2 voluntary manslaughter counts. The judge gave 2 concurrent 11-year terms, crediting time served. This meant only brief additional incarceration. 6 months later, she was paroled. Upon release, she went straight to U.S. immigration for deportation. On July 1, 2001, Lisa reached Taipei Airport, met by Criminal Investigation Bureau agents. She was held hours and questioned deeply about the murders and her U.S. time, given possible Taiwanese charges. Under Taiwanese law, citizens convicted abroad of grave crimes can face retrial at home. Yet no further proceedings occurred. As of November 2024, records show no Taiwanese prosecution. After questioning, Lisa vanished from public sight, fading into anonymity, her later life unknown. Her children's details remain private. By November 2024, if alive, Lisa would be about 74, likely leading a secluded life in Taiwan. For Jim, the tragedy marked a steep decline personally and professionally. He admitted publicly it cost him everything. The scandal, headline news for years in the US, Taiwan, and China, alienated the Asian community, many blaming him for the prelude to Jennifer and Kevin's deaths. Though never charged criminally, his involvement scarred his name. In 1997, his firm faced U.S. lawsuits over alleged illegal radio imports. A settlement resolved it. Personal charges against Jim dropped, his U.S. corporation guilty, Shanghai branch fined $990,000. Jennifer's parents sued him for $2 million, claiming he knew of the rising conflict and owed protection to Jennifer and Kevin. The suit's resolution is unclear. The Lisa Pong case held every ingredient of a real-life dark saga: infidelity, betrayal, riches, greed, jealousy, revenge. Nearly 2 decades on, it sparks ongoing talk of justice, ethics, and the extremes of human feeling. While many denounce Lisa's inexcusable deeds, others sympathize, believing heartbreak and humiliation pushed her over the edge. Her tale lingers as a chilling warning of betrayal's ruinous effects and unchecked emotion. If this case gripped you, remember to like the video and subscribe. We share crime stories every night. Until next time, stay sharp, stay vigilant.